In our busy world, silence has become a forgotten strength. Noise and endless chatter dominate our lives. But what if the moments we choose not to speak held as much power as the words we do? How often do we pause to consider the meaning behind our quiet? Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, once said, according to the ancient wisdom of Stoicism, some say the world is loud now, but maybe the world has always been loud. The difference is, we don't know how to be quiet anymore. We speak quickly to fill the empty space. We explain ourselves when we don't need to. We defend, interrupt, argue, correct, react, as if words will fix what presence cannot. But what if the old ones were right? What if silence, deep, chosen silence, was stronger than speech? Stoicism, the ancient path of reason and strength, tells us this often. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and a master of self-restraint, wrote in his journal that very little is needed to live a happy life, because happiness lives within us, and silence guards a gate to it. Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, said, better to trip with the feet than with the tongue, because wounds from falling fade, but the scars of words can linger for years. To be stoic is not be stone. It is to be still, to hold your tongue not out of fear, but from strength, from peace, from clarity. So when should we be silent? When is quiet the most powerful answer we can give? Here are 10 moments when silence, not speech, will not only protect you, but transform you. Let's begin this journey inward. Listen closely to the places where your voice is best left resting. When you're being unfairly criticized, people will say things that aren't true. They'll misunderstand you, twist your words, doubt your motives. But the Stoic does not rush to defend or correct. Marcus Aurelius said, if you are pained by external things, it is not that it disturb you, but your own judgment of them. You can choose a different judgment. You can choose silence. When someone judges you unfairly, they speak from their own wound, not your truth. Let them. Listen. Breathe. Stay rooted. Your silence is not weakness. It is the clearest reflection of strength. Because a person who needs to explain themselves is still seeking validation. The person who does not has already found it. 2. When your emotions are high, anger comes fast. Hurt flares quickly. Jealousy speaks without thinking. And the Stoics knew this is when we are most dangerous. Aurelius wrote, how much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it? When you're upset, don't speak. Pause. Let the fire pass through you without lighting your tongue. Because once you say something in rage, you cannot unsay it. Silence here is safety, not just for others, but for your future self, the one who must live with the aftermath of your outburst. 3. When you don't know the full story, how often do we rush to judgment? A friend is cold to us. A stranger offends us. A colleague misses a deadline. And we respond before we understand. Stoicism teaches patience. To not know, to wait, to watch. You never see the full picture at first glance. And speaking too soon may cut deeper than you intended. Hold your words. Let reality unfold. The truth will always reveal itself. But the words you said in ignorance may become a weight. For when someone is venting, not every cry is a call for advice. Not every rant is a request for response. Sometimes, people just want to be heard. The Stoic listens without ego, without the need to fix or teach or reply. They understand the wisdom of simply being there. Silence in this moment is service, a space you offer, where another person can untangle themselves without interruption. You become a mirror, calm, open, unmoving, and in that reflection, they may find their own peace. 5. When you're tempted to gossip, it's easy to talk about others, to comment on what they do, how they fail, what they said. But Stoicism reminds us, you are what you repeatedly do and say. Aurelius wrote, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Gossip speaks loudly about the speaker, not the subject. Stay silent when others draw you in, not because you are better, but because you are building a life where your words are tools, not toys. 6. When your ego is bruised, Someone ignores your idea. Someone else gets credit for your work. Your worth feels invisible. You want to announce yourself, to fight for recognition, to show them. But a Stoic asks, why do you need their validation? Aurelius said, it never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own. Silence here is a return to your own center, a place where you don't perform. You simply are. In that quiet, you grow stronger, because you're no longer feeding the ego that always demands more. 7. When you're about to say something you'll regret, there's a tightness in the chest, a quickening of breath, a sentence forming too fast. You want to hurt, to win, to release. But this is the moment the Stoic lives for, the space between impulse and action. Do not speak. Not yet. Let the silence hold you until wisdom returns. And your words are once again servants, not masters. 8. When silence will teach more than words. Some lessons don't need explanations. Some truths don't need to be spoken. A child watches your calm. A friend notices your presence. A room feels your stillness. Stoicism is a way of living, not just thinking. And often, the most powerful teachings come from who you are, not what you say. Be the lesson, not the lecture. 9. When you're winning an argument, it feels good to be right, to land the final point, to silence the other side. But that last blow, it's not necessary. The Stoic knows that victory isn't in overpowering another, but in mastering yourself. Stop before the final word, not to let them win, but to show you have nothing to prove. Aurelius wrote, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Don't win by becoming what you dislike. Win by walking away, quietly, strongly, whole. 10. When the moment is sacred, a sunrise, a final goodbye, a quiet hand on yours, the stillness before a leap, the breath before a prayer. Some moments are too holy for words. The Stoic honors them with silence. This is not emptiness. This is reverence. A soul choosing to feel, instead of narrate, to absorb, instead of explain. And in that silence, you meet the divine. Marcus Aurelius reminded us again and again that happiness is within, not in things, not in status, not in what others think. And silence, chosen silence, is a doorway back to that happiness. Because when we stop talking, we start hearing. When we stop explaining, we start understanding. When we stop defending, we start becoming. So as you walk through life, ask yourself, do I need to speak now? Or is this a moment where silence will say more? Let the teachings of Stoicism guide you, not into coldness, but into calm, not into isolation, but into power. Because silence, when chosen with wisdom, is not the absence of sound. It is the presence of peace. And so, we return to where we began. In a world that never stops speaking, you now carry a secret. That silence is not an absence, but a presence, not a weakness, but a form of power, not the retreat of the timid, but the armor of the wise. Marcus Aurelius lived as an emperor, with armies at his call, but his greatest strength was this. He knew when not to speak, because he understood what most still forget, that true freedom is not doing whatever you want, but having the discipline to do only what is right. And often what is right is simply to be still, to say nothing, to let peace rise in the space words would have filled. If you can carry even one of these silences with you into your relationships, your conflicts, your daily thoughts, you will begin to live not just as a person, but as a presence. And in that presence, you will find a deeper strength than speech could ever offer. Let your silence be your power. Let it be your peace. Let it be your gift to a noisy world. Now, go quietly and live wisely.